Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Activate Your Voice, the Activation Hour series. I'm your girl, Melissa D, your activation coach and activation specialist. Thank you so much to our regular Activation Nation community. You guys have been such loyal listeners and fans of the show. Do me a favor, if you're watching right now live, we want to recognize you. Just drop your city and state, put hashtag live because we want to shout you out during the show. If you're catching the replay, no worries. We're here for you too. Just put hashtag replay. Again, shout out to our LinkedIn family and to our YouTube family that are regular listeners. If you're just joining, this series is presented by the Activation Hour, which is our media platform to help activate your voice at work and in the world. This Activate Your Voice 12-part series is especially crafted for you to unmute yourself and show up to be seen and heard at work and in the world. I'm bringing some of the best coaches, trainers, and specialists and helping you build your personal brand, overcome your fears, to speak up in front of your business and your career and tell your story. Your story matters, and it's the biggest part of why people are drawn to work with you. And so today's topic really hit for me because as we're in the season of transforming or transitioning our platform, leveraging a personal story is critical. When you leverage a personal story, it's like you're giving people a peek into who you are. When you do that, we see that with most brands, it's more than just the company and the corporation mission, vision, and values, but who's the person? Who's the leader? Who's the visionary and the one behind the scenes making the decisions? After all, statistically, people are more likely to do business with people that they can relate to and not just a faceless business or brand. Who better than my guest today to help unpack this topic than LaShana West, Miss West, as she calls herself, the business therapist? Yes, I said that right. Not just business coach, a business therapist. Upon meeting this powerhouse woman who's on a mission to help you be seen, be visible, and have the tools to be mentally ready to run your business. She is a phenomenal speaker, host, and she specializes in the therapy and mindset strategy space. She's been serving the mental health field for over 20 years. And you're probably thinking, well, Melissa, what does telling my story have to do with mental health? Stay tuned so you can hear more of that. Because if you're not mentally and emotionally ready to show up in your business, then you definitely need LaShana. What she learned in the developmental disability space and helping individuals in this area has helped many across the country through her life coaching and her business blended approach to help her clients get laser focused results. I absolutely love her C3 method, which she's going to talk about more for courage, clarity, and much more that you need in your toolkit for you to leverage your personal story. Make sure you stay tuned and share this episode to help others get activated. You're now locked in to Activate Your Voice with Melissa D. White. Hello, how you doing?
Hi. Great. I was grooving. I'm like to the intro. I'm like, yes.
I love it. Everyone loves it. You always need a little bop, little groove to get right into it. Welcome. Thank you so much for spending your afternoon with me to activate our audience today.
Thank you for having me.
You know, I can say I met you in the capacity of seeing you as a speaker. And what really lit up your platform for me personally wasn't just the tools you were giving, because we were at a marketing tea, like to really get information on that. It was the story behind the information you gave. And I was like, whoa, I think that resonated just as much, if not more, than the tools.
Yeah.
And when I said, hey, we have to have a conversation, why to you was it important to have this topic as the business therapist to leverage your personal story?
Yeah. Well, the reason is because I understand what your resiliency story, your personal story can do for you. So I'm a business
Mm,
therapist and I've been in the mental health field for 20 plus years.
mhm,
And I moved from that space to the entrepreneurial space, and I've never shared my story ever.
mm.
My daughter is 19. I've never shared it with her father. I've never shared the
Wow.
full story with my daughter who lives with me. But entrepreneurship literally is personal and professional development. And whether you're an
Mhm,
entrepreneur or whether you're in corporate, you're an executive, we still all have a personal brand. Well, if we
mhm.
don't share our story, people only know the surface. And that's why we're not really making the true impact that we want to make in life and in business.
That's really good. I'm glad you said that because we spend time with our families and with our colleagues, our coworkers, and they see only maybe fragments of who we are, but actually it's who we are and the personal story behind the scenes of why we're doing all of this in the first place. So it's
Yeah.
like they get to see the what you do, but not who you are, right?
Yes.
While you're
Yes.
doing it. So speaking of who you are, tell us more about who you are. Tell us
Sure.
who is LaShana West, the business therapist.
Yeah. So, and I think I kind of jumped the gun, but guys, let me tell you something. When it comes to sharing about confidence, clarity, being your full authentic self, I am like a firecracker. I don't even follow the rules. I just want to get it out there. And I think that's why it's important for us to share our story because the glory is behind our story and all of that
Mhm.
excitement and all of that energy sometimes we suppress because we think that our story is shameful, but it's
Mhm.
not. So my name is LaShana West. I'm a business therapist and mindset mentor, and I help entrepreneurs move the mental blocks that are stopping them from scaling in life and in business. And in addition
Mhm.
to entrepreneurs, executives, creatives, high performing ambitious people, because I believe that we all have another stream of gifts that we are not tapping into. And my goal is to help you build the courage to identify what is that thing that really gets me going? Why aren't I tapping into it? And how can I tap into it so I can make a bigger impact in life and, of course, in business as well?
I love that. You hit on something very strong. And I think this statement here is the bridge to what we're talking to.
Yes.
Removing the mental blocks.
Hmm.
What's an example of a mental block that's stopping people from showing up as they need to in their career and their business to tell their story? You said
Yeah.
one of them, which was shame, but boy, there are
Mhm.
some things that really keep us quiet. What are they?
Right. There's so many things, right? So right now I'll just talk about imposter syndrome because imposter syndrome
Mm,
conceptualizes so many things. And so if
mhm,
you're like, okay, I hear this word imposter syndrome, but I really don't know what it is, let me just share really quickly what imposter syndrome is. So imposter syndrome is the inner critic telling you that you're not enough, that you don't belong at the table, you don't deserve the role that you're in. You don't deserve the title that you have, even though you have the accolades, experience, and all of the things. You're still telling yourself internally that you really haven't made it, and everyone at some point is going to learn
mhm,
that you're a fraud. It
mhm,
causes feelings of doubt, inadequacies, excessive negative thoughts, limiting beliefs, worry, fear, shame, fill in the blank. And so all of those things are mental blocks, but we conceptualize it as imposter syndrome. So yeah, that would be a brief example of that.
Wow, 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 wow. We've heard that word a lot, especially in the coaching space. And I think people are dealing with it more, but there's still so many who could not put a name to that.
Yep.
And thank you for naming that thing that keeps us quiet. So, why business therapy though? I love the story you shared about you were calling yourself one thing and like, no, let me just be who I am. And you
Yep.
tag therapists to it. So that's a part of you even being authentic and telling your own story. Tell us
Mhm.
about that.
Yeah. So when I first started in the entrepreneurial space, so I'm a therapist, right? Mental health therapist. I've been serving at-risk families, at-risk youth, been a program director, worked in a crisis stabilization unit, therapy, 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 therapy. And in short, a therapist literally helps you change your mindset and your behavior through thinking bigger, getting clarity, and building confidence. So when I got into the entrepreneurial space, I seen people being mindset coaches, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to be a mindset coach. Well, I'm a higher level mindset coach. I have 20 plus years experience as a mental health professional, right? And I said, you know what? Instead of me putting myself in a box because I see that's what everyone else is doing, let me literally pull out what I actually do. I engage in business strategy. I help them with the clarity of what they want to build, lead generation, all of that good jazz. But it comes from a business growth aspect in your mindset. Because if you don't believe that you can make more money, if you don't believe if you increase your rates that people will buy it because of your own mental blocks, you can't grow your business. So with business therapy, I help you increase your business growth through the internal, the mental, and the wellness aspect instead of it being your typical business coaching approach.
I love that. A wellness approach to business. We always talk about,
Yeah.
wellness plans or care plans at work. But for those of us who have shifted from maybe a traditional job setting to a business setting, we can't neglect the fact that we need mental wellness to
Mm-hmm.
show up appropriately in that space, right?
Yes. Yes.
That's so good. That's so good. Now you do this in a very specific way. Um you referenced it before, but your C3 method that you talk about. Tell us
Mhm.
about these 3 C's and how they help us get clear and have courage and be brave enough to share our stories.
Yeah. So the three C's is a shorter version. It's actually six, but
Oh
we'll,
wow.
we'll focus on the three today, right? It's a
Okay.
6 seed method, and it's a play on words with 6 C's. And
Mm,
I used to start with clarity, but what I learned is you can't get clarity if you don't have the courage to even muster up, articulate, and think of the things you want to get clear on. So it literally starts with courage, building the courage to be your authentic self, to dig deep and do the inner work and really say, okay, LaShana, what do you really, really, really want to be known for in this thing called life? And sometimes we're afraid to share what we think because we don't believe that it will occur. So that's where that courage piece comes from. And if you guys know Marshawn Evans Daniels, she talks about courage a lot as well. And so when you gain the courage, then you will get closer to clarity, getting clear on who you are. What kind of woman are you? What kind of man are you? What kind of parent are you? How are you showing up in life? How are you showing up in business? How does the world perceive you? And how do you want to be perceived? Because perception is reality. The world might perceive me one way, but how do I really want them to perceive me for my full, authentic, true self? So once we move from courage to clarity, that's when you're able to build the confidence so you can stand full in your power, stop shrinking, stop
mhm,
letting imposter syndrome puppet you around. And then
mm,
that's when the momentum starts, which takes you to the next set of C's. And I'll talk about those really quickly.
mhm,
Creating content that connects. How can I go live
mm,
and create content if I don't have the courage? I'm not clear on who I'm talking to or what I'm talking about. Then I'm definitely not going to have confidence to do that.
mhm,
So when you're
mhm,
creating that content, I teach my clients how to tap into their resiliency story. And I call it specifically resiliency story because, Melissa, you've heard a little bit of mine.
yeah.
Sometimes we think that our story should be compartmentalized, tucked in a little box, and no one should ever know about it. But I disagree.
Mhm,
And when you are able to share your personal story, share your resiliency story, that's when you're truly able to connect and attract your target market, attract those who are in alignment with who you are, and repel those who aren't, right?
mhm.
And the next C from the content creation is customer service,
Mm.
right?
Come on, that's good.
I, here's the
That's
deal.
good.
Because you can do all the things, but if you're not retaining and you're not providing, I call it my servant leadership approach in customer service,
Mhm,
nothing is going to be sustainable. Everything is connected. And customer service also is your email marketing, engaging with your customers, creating your content, asking
Mhm.
them for feedback. What do you need? What do you want to learn from me in the next 60 days? We have
Mhm.
all the answers, but sometimes we don't want to solicit feedback to get the information, and that keeps us stagnant. And from there, the last C is cash flow. If
Come
you
on,
can,
cash flow. I love it. It
cash
goes
flow.
right into what
Yes.
you need, the cash flow. That's
Yes, and the
good.
cash flow is the result. A lot of us want to start at cash flow, but if you don't do all of the things in my succeed method, my philosophy is you can't get to the cash flow. And if you do, it's not sustainable because you haven't set the foundation of who you are
Mm.
internally as a person.
That's good. So, guys, make sure you don't miss this. I typed them in the comments here. And if you're on YouTube, I'll put this in a link to what she said. This is valuable. Those C's, it's like a map. I like one C sets you up for the next one. I
Mm-hmm.
love that. Again, that was courage, clarity, confidence. Like you said, it takes the courage and the clarity to even be confident in how you show up.
Yes.
And a lot of times we can't show up. That this one hit me especially, LaShana, when you said it. You can't show up fully because you're not even clear yourself in your own head
Yes.
about who am I now in my career. If you're shifting in your career, especially a lot of people are doing it right now in the workspace. If you have transitioned from corporate to entrepreneur, who am I as an entrepreneur? Who am I as a mom? Who am I as whatever that new thing is? I can't articulate that.
Yes.
If I can't even make peace with that in my mind, how am I going to tell anybody else?
Amen to that. And here's the deal. If I'm not clear when I show up, I can't be confident if I'm not laser spot on in the
Mm-hmm.
impact that I'm going to make, how I'm going to help you, what your transformation is, and how I'm going to help you get
Mm-hmm.
there. No matter if you are a tutor, if you're a coach, or if you bake cookies, like what's the whole theme, the whole brand of what you're building? And
Yes.
so when I was a mindset coach, I was literally helping with clarity, but I had to be fully authentic with myself and know many people come to me for clarity, but the deep thing that they really need help with is building the courage and doing their inner work. And so I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
even in pocket with what I was doing. And what I love about entrepreneurship and about being a coach, we get to double dip,
Yes.
right? She's like,
Mm-hmm.
we get to double dip as we're working with our clients. We get even more clear in what we're doing, right? And it's just a domino
Mm-hmm.
effect. But if you don't start, you will never get certain or clear or build courage or build confidence.
Oh, you're going somewhere. You're going somewhere that people don't like to go. This whole if I don't start, you'll never get the clarity.
Right.
And a lot of times people think it's the opposite way.
Hmm.
I gotta get super. Now I get it, and I get it, guys. We don't want to confuse you here, but this is important. We're telling you, yes, get clear so you know how to show up. But when you say you gotta start showing up, like it's a process. It's a
Yes.
process. Don't let that stifle or stop you from opening your mouth.
Amen.
Like how you've been a therapist for, I believe, was it 20 plus
20
years?
plus years, yes.
And then an entrepreneur for how many years?
About 4 now.
Got it.
Yeah.
So in that, did you gradually get clear the more you showed up in your
Oh,
business and for your people? Every time you did it, you learned something new that
every
you
single day. And it
okay.
and that's the thing. It's funny. I just reposted something that Russell Brunson posted. He
Mhm.
said entrepreneurship is the most impactful personal development vehicle because
Mhm.
if you're on a self-help journey, okay, you're listening to podcasts, you're going to events, you're maybe in therapy, you're choosing to do those things. In
Right.
entrepreneurship, it will just lay in your lap because the inadequacies, the imposter syndrome, all these things that you struggle with, it's going to come out whether you're doing a masterclass, whether you're on a live
Mhm.
with a powerhouse like Melissa D. White, right? Whether you're speaking on a stage,
Yeah.
you just have to face your fear or you will fail. And so I like reposted it and added some more
I
content.
saw that.
Yeah. So, but that's another thing, content creation. When you see things that resonate with your brand, it doesn't always have to be you front facing. You can
Mhm.
repost and add your spin. You can chop it up and do a remix on the reel where you're just agreeing, but it's not always your thought that needs to be out there. Who else is in alignment with what your brand is in alignment with, and leverage that and infuse that so you can just grow your brand and also grow your leads, if that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. And I'll tell you why that hit just listening to you say that is one to the Russell Brunson quote. That couldn't be a more truer statement. I like to say entrepreneurship is a mirror. Like it will show you all your weaknesses, all your flaws. I actually think that um that also happens when you get to maybe the top of your career. Like you start to really look back and reflect. Like if you're not an entrepreneur and you listen to this and you're climbing a corporate ladder or
Mhm.
aspiring to grow, the higher you get, the more you see yourself.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
So I see where this framework you've provided works either way.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, at like I said, at work or in the world, period. So this is good. Now do you see why I told you she was the one I had to have this conversation with about your personal story? Because I never, I hear so many speakers when I go and do media coverage at events or from sitting down, with leaders and thought leaders such as yourself.
Thank you.
People love to tell what they know, but
Right.
not who they are and how they know it.
Mm-hmm. That's facts. That's facts. And this is the thing about me, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I create things that I know I either needed or need. I'm that confident in
Mm-hmm.
myself. I have a community called Accountability on Demand. It's
Yes.
a safe space for them to come, learn, talk about what's going well, talk about what's not going well,
Mm-hmm.
kind of feed off of each other. We do live events, we do virtual events. I needed that as an entrepreneur. So at the end of the day, if you trust yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you will then embark on a journey and create things that's going to make a massive impact. Because right now, a lot of us have all these great ideas in here or in these
Mm-hmm.
journals that are piling up from these events we don't went to, but we haven't implemented what we learned. We become
Ooh.
information hoarders, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so I would just say, just do it like Nike, because the only failure is if you don't do it because you don't know what would have happened. And nothing is worse than a broken heart of regret of, well, what if I would have did that? I wish I would have did that.
Mhm.
Let's just do it.
Mhm. Mhm. You know what I like to call that in our community for my regular activation listeners? We call that being head rich, hand poor.
Mm, I agree.
I love how you said information hoarders. I
Yes.
was one of those. Because we're taught like get all the things, get all the education, get all the knowledge, right? But execution. So what do you do in your accountability on demand? I love that you brought up your community. Shout out to the AOD community.
Thank
Um, what are some of the nuggets you do within this community that you help them be accountable to
you. Mhm.
execute on demand to
Yes.
tell these stories and to show up in their business, in their careers, wherever they need to in their space?
Great question. So in AOD, it's literally a confidence and business strategy incubator.
Mm.
Because I'm a therapist, because of my personality, some people just literally log on to get a boost of energy, right? But the thing is, we don't have passive participants. You're always going to leave with an accountability task. I'm going to be looking at your social media periodically through the week, checking in, seeing how you're doing. If I come up with a quick idea, you know what, Melissa? I thought about this. This would be good for your brand. I'm texting it to you because that's just my personality. And that's why I named it Accountability on Demand. The biggest thing I think is the ecosystem and the community of different people doing different things, coaches, authors, consultants. Some people sell products, but we are each other's target market. So I might ask a question and the vicarious learning is helping someone else. The other piece is no judgment zone. So we are free to be ourselves, be quirky, have fun, but still learn and earn. So when you log off, I'm telling you, it's just like, okay, I'm ready to go create content. Even if you're the one that's kind of shy, you're going to do something because you've gotten a boost of energy. But at the end of the day, it's about sustainability and self-sufficiency. I do not want anyone to be dependent on me and my boost of courage and energy. So I'm planting seeds and teaching them these strategies. So when they go off and soar in the world and LaShana no longer exists, it's instilled and it's a natural thing that they've built up to do.
I love that. Self-sufficiency and sustainability. For
Yes.
those of you who are working with coaches like myself, and like LaShana, get you a coach that helps you build a plan for sustainability and
Amen.
self-sufficiency. It is not our goal for you to depend on us forever. Amen. Hallelujah.
Amen.
We're in the business of getting you to a place where you don't need us. I know that sounds
Yes.
crazy,
Yes.
but it's just facts, right? It's
Yeah.
just facts.
Because at some point, Melissa, it becomes enabling. And I'm not doing that. Like, as a therapist, I teach that all the time to parents,
That's good.
relationships, entrepreneurs. Key point. Let's say I have a product for a price of $1,000, but someone calls me, they're a good fit. Well, I don't really have it. I only have 200. If I say yes, I'm enabling them because they have a scarcity money mindset problem. Now, mind you, I'm not trying to go down another rabbit hole.
Yeah, that's a
Okay.
master class in and of itself.
Masterclass in and of itself, because I used to have a money mindset problem. Like, I was in corporate. When I came to the entrepreneur world, I'm not paying $97 to talk to someone. I'm not paying $9 million.
Right.
Guess what? That was a scarcity mindset. I didn't believe in myself to think that I would do the work. So I blamed it on the opportunity. And that is enabling if that person obliges, because that person needs to continue to do their work and show up when they're ready. So whole nother master class, y'all.
Listen, if y'all just heard what bomb she dropped on us, I feel if you want, that's where I need my bomb drop sound effects. So listen, if you want her to come back and unpack that, I think there's a part 2 that she just opened up in this interview, because it is important. Like, if you're going to start telling your story, there's oftentimes a process to that leads to you offering a service, offering a product, just offering yourself in some capacity. Yeah. But if you're scared of pricing, or you're scared of putting yourself out there, how are people going to even know to work with you? You can't have a scarcity mentality. You can't have a scarcity mentality about yourself or your life. And that's going to keep you from leveraging, which is what we are talking about today. You can't leverage anything if you don't believe that there's a result on the other side of what you're offering.
Amen.
So we're going to take a really, really, really quick break. Don't you go anywhere. We want to just recognize our sponsors for this episode. And we also want to come back from this. I want to talk about and ask you, LaShana, about the steps to leveraging. How, once I'm not shrinking back, I'm not scared. I smashed imposter syndrome.
Right.
I got the C's on lock, all 6 of them. How do I leverage showing up to tell my story? All right. So again, you guys, this episode is brought to you by 2 of our sponsors, the Boone Law Firm, where you can learn more about business contracts and development. Get the protection you need to protect your business and idea. You can learn more at theboonefirm.com, and also Activation Coaching International. Be seen, be heard at work and in the world. Get the tools you need to show up and use your voice and be more than an employee in these spaces. We'll be right back in just a moment with our guest today, LaShana West. Activation Coaching International, where we're on a mission to activate 1,000 coaches, speakers, and business owners to monetize, repurpose, and package your message, allowing you to attract your ideal clients and build platforms using your voice that generate multiple streams of income. We've helped countless coaches achieve optimal results to get the training and support they need for a successful coaching practice and speaking business. Become a certified life and business coach to enhance your skills and serve at mass. Learn how to build a platform that attracts your ideal clients through Activation Coaching International. Apply today. I love it. I caught you doing, what were you doing? Your reels,
Yeah,
content. It's one of those
content.
C's.
Listen, listen. And this is the thing. Let me tell you what I was doing. I have the link from this LinkedIn Live and I'm posting it on Instagram so people can come over. A lot of times, and this answers your question that you're about to ask me, but I'm about to jump in.
Mhm.
We miss out on content creation opportunities that generates know, like, and trust. It may take
Mhm.
months, it may take years, it may take days, but the more you do it, it's a compound effect. And when you're inconsistent, it's a gap, and you
Mhm.
literally got to start back over. So that's what I was doing. Sharing this link real quick.
Come on with it. That takes us right into this next part, y'all. Leverage. Many of us show up. Here's what I see as a media host. And I want to hear your take on this.
Sure.
What I often see when I invite people to sit in conversation with me, or if I'm just watching interviews, I'm a student of media and of interviews, and I see people show up and they share, sometimes eloquently, um,
Mhm.
this is who I am, this is what I do. Go visit me here.
Right.
And then so you have this amazing masterpiece of an interview to take with you, but people don't do anything with it.
Mm-hmm.
How do you leverage showing up for opportunities like this? How do you leverage sharing not just what you do,
Right.
but who you are, to build community, to build coins,
Mm-hmm.
to build a brand? How do you do that? Connect those dots for us.
Yeah, so I'll use myself as an example, okay?
Mhm.
All of the followers, subscribers, leads, generation clients organically built. What do I mean by that? I don't use ads. I don't pay cold callers. Everything is
Mhm.
organic. So, one day I was on Facebook and I seen an event. It was called Boss Talk Expo. And I
Mhm.
looked at the speaker lineup, I looked at everybody, amazing event, and I seen there was a gap. They didn't have a mental health wellness expert on the platform. So I jumped in the girl's DM. I said, "Hey, I see your events coming up. My name is LaShana West. I'm a business therapist. I specialize in A, B, and C. Do you have a need for this information at your event?" She said, "Yes, we do. Send over your media kit." Step one, I was prepared. Not only did I just jump and randomly ask someone, "Hey, can I be in your show?" When they said yes, I was prepared. So, step one, I had the courage to do it. Step two, be prepared for the opportunity when it comes. Once I got there and I spoke, shared my story, shared my expertise, I then leveraged their audience and leveraged my information. And whoever connected then wanted to reach out to me. I did not get compensated for the event. However, I booked 3 clients that equated to over $20,000. So it came from me getting the courage to jump into someone's DM. And when I say jump into someone's DM, y'all get a little slang here and there. I literally contacted them through their DM, direct message. Had I not done that, and I still work with one of the clients right now, this was a year ago, a client who embarked on a transformation with me so I can help them with their business, help them with their clarity and confidence. And then they completed one program and continued with another one. So that's how you leverage who you are in your story. Because when you collaborate and you connect, you don't know what's going to come out of that. Someone is listening that needs you. But guess what, guys? They can't find you if you're not showing up.
Bingo.
Mic drop.
My God. Serious mic drop. So for those on in our LinkedIn and YouTube audience, think about it for a moment. Are you prepared? Like LaShana said, am I prepared? But also don't be passive. What I heard you say is, I didn't wait for someone to come to me with their platform.
Nope.
I went seeking platforms that had audiences that are my clients.
Yes.
And you looked for the gap. Does that sound familiar, Activation Nation? Teach to the gap, serve the gap. Where's there a gap? And that's leverage.
Yes. And I think
Mhm.
also, Melissa, the thing is, I went and supported and made the event and the platform stronger. I didn't say, well, are you
Mm,
hiring speakers? How much do you pay? I didn't care about that. We just need to care about the impact, and the cash flow will organically come.
that's so good.
And this year, they're putting it on again. They hired me as a speaker. They're flying me to Florida
Come
to
on.
do all the things. So when you listen to your heart and you follow whoever you believe in, whatever you believe in, you are going to get compensated in abundance.
Mm. Did y'all catch that? Full circle conversation here. We dealt with scarcity before the break. And scarcity will also have you thinking, well, I'm not going to do this for free
Mm-hmm.
and it's not benefiting me right now in the immediate. We have to be wise. That's what I heard you say. Like, hey, I used wisdom about the platform and the people because I'm going to show up and serve now
Yes.
so that it serves me later. It's reciprocity.
Yes.
And I love that. Leverage is it's a two-way street. You are a benefit and a value add to them. They added value to you. They brought you back on a bigger scale.
Yep.
And those of us in that space who understand that relationship can see repeated results of that story. So I challenge you, if you're listening to this, are there areas where you've left opportunity on the table with a scarce mindset?
Mm. Very good.
They need your story. It's really about the people in the room who need your story.
Exactly that. Because I was able to show up at the event as my full authentic, because I could have, okay, I showed up at the event, but if I'm shrinking during my serving, no one's
Mm-hmm.
going to connect.
Mm-hmm.
So you still have to continue to fight full fledged through everything. Like right now, I'm fighting. I'm in the gym. I'm sharing my story. I'm here serving, right? You
Mm-hmm.
have to do that every single day, whether you're a parent, a husband, a wife, an executive, an entrepreneur, fill in the blank. It's hard out here, right?
Yes.
But I believe that we all have a special gift. And the question is, are you ready to soar in your gifting?
Mm-hmm.
Are you
That's
ready?
good. Are you ready? And so a part of the next level, let's talk about the levels of leverage. I just came up with this on the spot.
I like it. I like it. Let's go.
Let's go for it. Because I believe this is going to add tremendous value. Guys, this is the point where you like take out notes. Y'all know how I do. Like I'm always taking notes. I have pages here talking to LaShana. But levels of leverage. On a previous episode, we talked about why every speaker needs to be a coach and vice versa.
Hmm.
And oftentimes we get the question in our community here for the LinkedIn community, especially of how do I branch out into speaking more? How do I get into media more? Like you're in corporate spaces, but you want to be an influencer. I hear that a lot, right? So the levels of leverage, do you think maybe people start out with, hey, serve professionally first and get good at your craft? And then the next level is to now, when you're confident in that, you put your personal on top of the profession. Now start showing up as the person
Mm-hmm.
and be more comfortable saying, hey, this is my personal story. Hey, this is what I went through to get here. Hey, so go through some things first, kind of build your triumph, if you will, and
Mm-hmm.
then show up and tell that story. And I oftentimes see people do that out of order, LaShana, where they're like, hey, this is me, this is who I am. I'm like, great, but how are you going to serve?
Right.
Great. What's that? Like, what are you going to do to help other people?
Mm-hmm.
And instead of just coming out the gate, hey, this is me and this is why you need to hire me. I'm seeing
Yeah.
that.
It's almost like going to a job interview and just jumping right in. This is me. That's why you got to hire me. They want to
Mm,
know how you can serve and support the mission, the values of the company. So there's
mm,
always strategy to everything, Melissa. But
mm,
I think sometimes we just do whatever and then we figure it out. For example, I didn't know I
mm.
was going to be an entrepreneur. I didn't know I was going to be a coach.
You mean
I,
you didn't have this plan during that 20 years of being a therapist?
no, I thought I was going to retire being in the mental health field, climbing the corporate ladder, wanting to make six figures and have a C-suite somewhere, CEO in a cute little office. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
thought. Well, guess what? I created my cute little office here at home. I name my own prices. I name my own impact. I help others create their impact. And now it's a domino effect. I'm very grateful for what I learned in corporate because I wouldn't be as cutting edge, as innovative as I am right now. But my point is, I didn't plan like do this so I can do this, so do this. I didn't. But one thing about me, I'm very persistent, very determined, and confident in who I am because of my story. If I can get through all the things that I went through, unresolved childhood trauma, both parents addicted to crack cocaine, then how come I can't be a CEO, be the president, run a company? That's minute when I think of all the other things I've already been able to overcome. But that is mindset. If I don't understand it and don't believe it, then I will shrink and I will just be someone who's going through the motions and existing instead of thriving.
That's so good. Existing instead of thriving.
Yes.
So if you're someone listening to this and you're like, I know I want more, I know I have more to say, stop existing in limited capacity of what you could be.
Yes.
And show up fully as you are.
Mm-hmm.
Have you found that when you do everything that you said, LaShana, that's when everything you wanted really starts showing up for you?
Most definitely. It's freeing. You're able to breathe. Because when you're not showing up as your full authentic self and you're not using your voice, you're suppressing some things in you. And at some point, it's going to bubble up and pop. It may come out in, I call it drug, sex, and rock and roll. It may come out in irritability. I'm being facetious, but I got that.
True.
Let me just explain the drug, sex, and rock and roll thing. So when I worked at a youth facility, we'd be like, okay, these kids, drug, sex, and rock and roll. We don't know what we're going to get. So, but I use that now because adults do the same thing. Whether it's irritability, whether it's mental health issues, whether it's excessive shopping, whether it's excessive drinking, gambling, fill in the blank, you're doing that because something is hurting inside and you don't know how to address it or you're not ready to address it. So you address it inappropriately. Now I'm going deep, guys, but it will literally resort to that when you are not living in your full self because your mind will start to eat at you and tell you things, and then you're to your own devices. And if you don't have a community, a coach, or someone who is in support, then you literally will continue to go into your own devices. Let me know how that works out.
And that's why you need a business therapist. And that's why you need to meet LaShana and her team and her community. You're providing amazing spaces for the AOD community, for people to be accountable, to connect with you. I think it's genius what you're doing. I applaud you for doing this. We got enough coaches. We need a business therapist out here. It's enough of us. We need somebody qualified to walk you through the mental space and build up your mental clarity, courage, communication, all of the C's, all 6 of them, which you can catch in our notes. I love it. I was like, oh, that's a whole a workshop, a class on the 3 C's, on the 6 C's. Let me say that.
Yeah.
How can our community and our listeners meet you in person and work with you? Because I think you have some upcoming in-person things, right?
Yeah, thank you so much. So honestly, I just did a 6-figure mindset masterclass. So on my YouTube channel right now, the replay is there where you get all the C's in color. You learn about my story. So make sure to follow me, Miss West Creative Coaching Consulting on YouTube. If you want to connect with me and explore how I can support you, you can text the word mindset to 678-336-7756, and you'll get an automatic link so you can schedule a complimentary clarity call. Across the screen is the AOD Live 2022. And Melissa, we're going to have to talk because I need you in the building. Early bird tickets are on sale right now, and we're focusing on 3 B's. I don't know what it is about me and letters. I probably need to go talk to somebody about that, y'all.
I mean, we remember that stuff. Alliteration, right? That's how we remember.
Yeah.
So what are they? Give
I might be addicted, though. I might be. Anyways, we're focusing on branding, business, and balance.
Ooh.
And when I say balance, I'm talking about there's going to be meditation activities, deep breathing, affirmation sections, facilitators, activities, in addition to the business strategy and the branding experts. Over 10 amazing experts. We might even have a co-host named Melissa D. I don't know if she's free. We'll see.
I know we're gonna pull up, guys. Come
when I tell
on,
you,
meet us in the community.
So fun, guys. So fun. I mean, I'm talking about like it's not even my event because, like I told you guys, I create things that I want and that I need. And maybe it's ego, but guess what? Thank you, ego, because it's making so much impact.
Yes. And that's the key word. All of this whole series is about making an impact through activation, activating your voice. Listen, don't be stingy, guys. If this information was helpful, if you feel bold and courageous enough to leverage your personal story, if you feel clearer now than you did at the beginning of this, share this episode. Click that share button, turn on the subscribe button for my YouTube followers. And we want to see you back here every week. Every Thursday, we're right here, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Follow Coach, Business Therapist, Mindset Strategist, LaShana West. Miss West, thank you so much for activating the audience with
this
us.
Was exciting. And I also want to share this, guys. At the end of the day, you have everything you need in a smorgasbord, but you have to make the decision to tap in. What Melissa is doing with the activation community, I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing, right? But if you just watch from the sidelines and you're like, well, we'll see. Let me check my bank account. Guess what? The more time you go without getting support, the more money you lose, the more headache you gain, and the more clarity that is not being generated. So I definitely want to say thank you again for having me. This has been amazing. And I hope to see everyone at Accountability on Demand Live in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes. So again, y'all give it up in the chat, in the comments. Show some love to LaShana West. Again, you'll see the link here. You can go follow us. Go to the activationhour.com to catch replays, get the links, the notes to the show, and watch for my blog notes on today's episode. Again, right here, Atlanta, Georgia, July 30th through 31st. Meet us here for AOD Live. If you are, again, a first-time listener, get caught up. Go catch previous seasons. Subscribe on all podcast outlets as well as our YouTube channel if you want to see the interaction with my guests live. You've been tuned in to the special Activate Your Voice series here on Activation Hour. I'm your girl, Melissa D. Coach Mel, your activation specialist. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye, guys.